The area in which I have chosen to focus on for my prop box is number sentences with unknowns. The 5 areas which have influenced my choice of items from within my prop box are as follows. Concrete, pictorial, abstract. The CPA framework. This framework allows students to work through their tasks using 3 distinct learning methods. Concrete, being through the use of concrete manipulatives, pictorial, through the use of pictures, and finally abstract thinking, where students move to being able to do calculations in their head. This framework will be demonstrated later on in this video. Secondly, the use of technologies, also known as ICTs. In an article from the University of Wollongong, it has been found that the use of meaningful technology assists students in processing information and committing it to long-term memory. The use of technology is a way of moving forward with the way in which students are interacting outside of the classroom. Later on, I will look at 2 games which have been specifically chosen with this idea in mind. The third area of influence is the syllabus. The New South Wales Mathematics Syllabus is an important tool which gives teachers the outcomes which are required to be met in each unit. The outcome which this prop box is focused on is from the Working Mathematically strand and will be discussed later on. The next area of influence which will be addressed is the 3 circles. The 3 circles focus on content, student learning and pedagogy. In an article entitled Training Teachers or Educating Professionals, it is said that what students learn is fundamentally connected to how they learn it. The 3 circles talk about the importance of not only knowing the information, but also being able to connect with how students learn and then take that information and effectively teach it. Finally, we will look at assessment. Assessment goes hand in hand with reflection, not only assessing students, but also assessing and reflecting upon the lesson as a whole and how effective it was. This can be linked back to the 3 circles, reflecting upon how students have connected with the information by how effectively it has been taught. As with many of the KLAs, student assessment can take place in 2 main forms, formative assessment and summative assessment. Towards the end of this video, we will look at ways in which both of these assessment types can take place in the mathematics classroom. The items which my prop box contains are as follows. A page from the Year 4 Maths Mentals Teacher's Book, a page from the Year 4 Student Textbook, Unifix cubes, syllabus pages, games, which will be shown on the iPad, and flashcards. The first prop in my prop box is a page from the Teacher's Maths Mentals textbook. This textbook contains ideas which teachers can use to successfully conduct lessons relating to unknown numbers and number relationships. This prop gives the teachers ideas on how to begin a lesson and links it to outcomes from the syllabus. The page also gives teachers ideas on how to gear up and gear down lessons in order to accommodate for all student levels, as well as ways in which a teacher can assess the student on the topic. The next item in my prop box is a page from the student textbook. This page could be used once students have an understanding of the topic, as it is an abstract task. This worksheet could be used at the end of the unit when students have moved through the 3 learning processes: concrete, pictorial, and finally abstract. It is during the abstract learning stage that the teacher models the mathematics concepts at a symbolic level, using only numbers, notation, and mathematical symbols. The third item in my prop box is Unifix cubes. In an article by Mudali, Vimalan, Naidu, Jayalukshmi, it is said that the topic of algebra often requires the manipulation of equations, which is why the use of concrete manipulatives can be so important. It further states that the seemingly illogical symbols may be manipulated with little regard to the numerals in the original equation. Through the use of Unifix cubes, students are being assisted in forming their understanding of the equation. An online article from the University of British Columbia suggests that using concrete manipulatives increases the number of sensory inputs a student uses whilst learning the new concept. It then further states that this increases the chance of students remembering steps needed to solve the problem. When students have successfully answered the question, they can move into the next stage, which is using pictures. As an example of how Unifix cubes can be used in a classroom activity, I've written a word equation for students. Tom is 110 centimetres tall, his brother Andrew is 50 centimetres taller, and his little sister Jane is half as tall as Andrew. How tall is Jane? This activity can work through each stage of the CPA framework. Beginning as a concrete activity, students will be using the Unifix cubes, meaning one cube is equating to 10 centimetres. By beginning of using the red blocks, I am creating a tower which represents Tom, which equates to 11 of the red Unifix cubes. Then, using the green cubes, I create a tower to equal the height of Andrew by adding 11 cubes and then an additional 5 cubes to equate to the extra 50 centimetres. Using the blue Unifix cubes, I now create a tower which is half as tall as the green tower. You might find that students do this in a few ways. Some students who are more able to use the abstract thinking will be able to work out what half the height of Andrew is by the equation of 160 divided by 2. Other students who may still need the visual aid might look at the green tower and then build a tower which is visually half as tall. This question can then be interpreted into a pictorial representation where students are able to draw their interpretation of the question. This can be done using a ruler and measurement, i.e. drawing Tom as 11 centimetres, Andrew as 16 centimetres, and then measuring half or calculating for the measurement of Jane. It is stated that by replicating movements students previously used with concrete materials, drawing simple representations of these objects supports students evolving abstract understanding of the concept and skill. The next prop which I have is pages from the New South Wales syllabus and the Australian mathematics curriculum. The activity which I have shown, which used the Unifix cubes, addresses an outcome from each of these documents. Syllabus pages are crucial to conducting a lesson as they are listed requirements set by the government which need to be fulfilled in the classroom. Additionally, in relation to Cooney's 3 circles, using the syllabus relates to a teacher's knowledge of the pedagogy of mathematics and is something which needs to be conveyed to students to assist them in understanding why certain elements are being taught. It is important that students are able to see the purpose behind lessons and how they are relatable to areas outside of the classroom. The next prop is games, which I will be showing on my iPad. In the following game, students are given word sentences, like the one which I earlier demonstrated. In this game, students are calculating the unknown numbers using everyday objects. In this game, students are also working with syllabus content in which they solve word problems by using number sentences involving multiplication or division where there is no remainder. In the second game, which I have, it is another form of virtual manipulatives, where students are required to move objects on the screen as shown to see how many will fit into the jar. The second game is relatable to both stages 2 and 3. In stage 3, one of the outcomes of students working mathematically requires students to select and apply appropriate problem-solving strategies using the use of digital technologies in undertaking investigations. In stage 3, students are also working with fractions and remainders, which can be done in this game. The final prop which I have included in my prop box is a set of flashcards which I have created as a game for students. Based on a question 4 from the student page of the Maths Mentors textbook, students are asked to insert the correct sign into the box of the equation. Rather than having students working from this sheet in their textbook, this activity can be done as a whole class. The teacher will write up a number sentence on the whiteboard asking individual students to have a guess at the answer. Students will hold up the card which they think has the correct answer. The use of concrete manipulatives and flashcards are able to assist teachers in formative assessment. It is during this type of assessment that teachers are able to see whether or not students are understanding the concepts or whether they are ready to move into the next stage of the topic or need to be given support activities to assist them to achieve the set outcomes. Additionally, the worksheet, which is given to students from their textbook, can be used as a form of summative assessment, as students are to complete the sheet at the end of the unit. This worksheet is also a form of abstract learning, as it requires students to calculate the answers to the questions and complete the sentences without the use of objects or pictures. Thank you for watching this video. I hope you have found that all of the items which have been listed in my prop box are useful for teaching students from stages 2 and 3 about unknown numbers in number sentences.